Welcome to this week's Lenten Devotion. Patricia McQueen is a recent addition to the Christ Church community. She sings in the choir, and a few Sundays ago baked beautiful bread for communion. Patricia draws on her Methodist heritage and her personal struggle with the cross, the image of the cross, to acknowledge that this is not an image of life. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all capture the crucifixion of Jesus. The cross is an image we all know. It is the central image of Christianity. It's an image used in communion when Jesus says, "My blood will be poured out as this wine. Drink of it and remember me." It is an image worn around necks and tattoos. It is a powerful image. Here's the thing about the cross. And Patricia does a great job reflecting upon it. We should all struggle with this image, especially the fact that God does the unexpected and faces death and beyond in the crucifixion.
So we had a wonderful service today about heaven and hell. And one of the things that I wanted to ask about is the symbols of Lent, things like, the cross and the meaningfulness of that. So do you have comments about that?
Well, I was just thinking that the cross is sort of an interesting symbol because I guess when I was younger and sort of in the larger context of Christianity, at least in North America, the cross is a very interesting dual symbol because when I grew up, the cross is always at the front of the church, and I've grown up knowing the cross as a symbol of sort of like comfort and peace. You come to church, there's the cross, it's a familiar sight. The cross means that this is good. The cross means that things are well. And then as I've grown older and I've sort of learned more about what the cross actually was in its time, it's very brutal. It's people are nailed to this and they die by asphyxiation. It's really quite horrifying, and it's this very interesting dichotomy to hold in your head, that you have the cross where it's this horrible, awful symbol. At the same time, for Christians at least, it's a symbol of life, of hope, of meaning. And I guess that's kind of a lot of what Christianity is about. This is sort of these weird dichotomies we hold in our heads. That Jesus has died, but Jesus has risen, and learning how to do all that.
And we as Methodists we have the empty cross. We don't have the body of Jesus on the cross. Mm-hmm. Is that significant for you?
Yeah, I do kind of wonder if I had grown up in a Catholic church. I grew up in the Methodist church. If I had grown up in the Catholic church, if I would have a different idea of what the cross means, or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, because it's different when the cross is empty versus seeing a bleeding Jesus figure on there. That's a bit more stark, a bit more on the negative side, for me at least. But if I grown up Catholic, that would still be a positive symbol because it would still be familiar. I don't know. I don't wonder about that.
In this season of Lent, do you see that symbol as is it indicative of the risen Christ for you? Can you say a little bit about that?
Well, I guess in Lent, I am reminded a bit more of that other side of the cross that's darker, because it's Lent and we're sort of reminded to think of that side of things. And we have the normal. Wait, there's not a cross in the altar right now. I'm very unobservant, sorry. But we have the big crosses up in the choir loft, and it's wreathed in purple. And seeing the cross displayed differently that way reminds me of that other side of it that's more negative.
Yeah, that wooden cross is pretty powerful, and that's up where you sit. Yeah.
I can't ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
One thing I love about the Christ Church sanctuary is there is no large cross in the space. That cross in the back of the sanctuary in the choir loft I have found to be jarring. It pushes me to get serious about a redemptive understanding of my cross theology. If I don't, then I'm just putting an instrument of violence and death on display. I believe the resurrection is what gives life, not the cross. But we can't get away from the cross. So how do we frame the cross as both life-taking and life-giving? And can the cross affirm God's presence, not God's absence? This week we'll be talking about the atonement, the understanding of the cross, and how we can embrace this image and hope instead of seeing it only as an image of violence. Don't forget, Jesus Christ Superstar is this Sunday, 1 p.m. at the Alamo Drafthouse Theater. See you Sunday.